Hey, my name's Eric. I'm making a game. I'm in a much better mood than I was yesterday. Much better. Most times, it just has to do with sleep. Most times. Yeah. I just really was pushing hard yesterday and was tired. And now you know what I got? I got Friday evening coffee here. Well, I drank it, but I can get a refill. I can be ridiculously irresponsible drinking coffee late into the evening. What else I got? Okay. Now, maybe I can say this before a certain character named Cicada comes onto the stream. But this jerk, he was right. He was right about something. You can actually see what he's talking about and telling me to do, and from the chat window from 2 days ago, he's saying you're having all these troubles with fading because you're trying to do some tricky half-ass state machine stuff with it, and what you want to do is just make one big general class that handles all the fading. Eric, that's what you want to do. He says, yeah, he gives me the code, the cocky bastard. He just puts the code right there. If dictionary contains some fade object, then fade equals blah, 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 blah. Then there's multiple objects interacting with a single state machine. And all you got to do, as he said up higher in the chat, is if you got multiple fades in progress, you just look through and you find the one that has the lowest opacity and make that your fade value. Just kind of roll them all up. God damn it, he was right. God damn it. He was so right. He was so right. Now, again, I hope he's not on right now, because I have to say he was right when he's not right in front. Cocky bastard. I did exactly what he said, and it worked great. And I have my qualms about doing this. Have my qualms. Because it felt to me like this is just saying we're not going to have control over, we're not going to bother with having control over who's fading what. We're just going to let everyone go crazy and say one person's going to fade this way, another one's going to fade that way, and we're just not going to take any responsibility for them and making sure that they are responsibly fading or not fading. Instead, we're just going to let this one object take in all the requests and make some sense of them. It felt irresponsible to me to centralize it like that. But then I got to thinking, this logic that I'm writing is fairly complex, and there's a general principle to the whole thing. You've got multiple reasons for why you might want to fade. Multiple reasons. And whoever is asking for the most fade is probably right. Whoever's saying make it less opaque, they're probably the one you need to pay most attention to. That's going to be true in almost every situation. And if it's not, you certainly could contrive all the factors feeding into it without much effort so that that was a good assumption. And that's what I did. I made this general purpose class called Fade Contribution, stole the name right from Cicada. My little bit of independence from him is that instead of having a dictionary of objects where you do a key lookup by passing in an object handle, there's just a limited set of channels, because I don't want a whole binary sort lookup hash thing every time I call it. I want it to be truly fast. No lookup stuff for that. So I just said, when you create the object, give it a fixed number of channels. Each channel will be a known contributor to fading. It'll be a factor, I guess, in how the overall fade is going to be determined. And then I added some functions for starting fades and stopping fades. And you always specify which channel you're doing it on. Then I added some functions that update all of the channels to have like the most recent fade according to whatever transitions were active on them. And also, out of all of those channels, which one has the lowest opacity, return that as the overall opacity. And then I added further to that some optimizations, like if nothing's fading, if nothing's changing in the opacities, let's just return the last opacity that we returned last time. So in order to do that, there's a little bit of, by the way, I'm going to demo in a second. I'm breaking the pattern of my stream by talking about code first. But anyways, and then I said we'll do some reference counting on whenever we start or stop a fade. So they'll have this fading channel count. When it's at 0, that means no fades are in progress. And then in that case, we'll just return the overall opacity without doing much calculation. It works, okay? Now the channels going into it, and this part I'll just demo instead of showing code. Right now, they are, is the character speaking? And that's sort of binary, on or off. If the character's not speaking, then we're not going to show their face. The next one is it a bad camera position, basically? So ducking causes all the faces to disappear, as does falling off of the side of an infinite height. Both of those are just considered bad camera positions for me to be showing the faces over the top of. Okay, so I hide all faces for either of those cases, and that's one channel that determines that. And the last one is an opacity for the face that's either low or high based on how complicated the stuff underneath it is. So that all works, and even as I get it all to work and I've removed all the bugs from it, it does make me think that I want to modify the logic further. And using this sort of general purpose, not really a state machine, but the fade contributor thing, it will allow me to experiment a little more readily with different things I'd like to do. So the first thought that occurs to me is maybe this stuff where I try to get tricky and see if there's something interesting underneath the face and go to low opacity is not actually that good. Maybe there's a simpler way of doing it. And the simpler way could be, if you're moving, if you've made any kind of command issuance, that the face will automatically be at low opacity. That'll be the signal that you're on the move, you're trying to do stuff. So you notice you can still kind of see what's going on. Okay, I already have some code that if I just come to a stop and wait a little bit, the face goes to high opacity. Not 100%, it's at 75%. You can still see through it a little bit, it's translucent. So there's a nice thing about this. You let the player decide how they want to position the characters themselves. It's almost like giving them a couple of dolls to play with. So if the player wants to put the face over here and just wait, and I don't have to make the wait that long, and then let the face kind of keep talking over here, you know, to the other one. They can do that. So they have some control over like how much of these faces they want to see just by moving around or not. I think that's probably the right way to go, instead of the more complex thing of trying to figure out if they are putting the face over something important to see. So I was saying, for example, that, let me see if I can get to a place. So over here I've got the face in high opacity, and the thought process behind, no, I shouldn't say that. The algorithm is examining the squares and saying, okay, there's nothing too complicated here, So go ahead and keep it at high opacity. But how does the player know that? How does the player feel comfortable about the face being at high opacity? And are there rules in their mind different than what the rules are in my algorithm? It feels like I'm not going to do a perfect job of figuring that out ever. And I'll have to err on the side of low opacity. And there'll be the face kind of popping off and on between those two opacities, and the player will end up getting a little bit confused. Like, why is it fading off and on? Whereas if I just say, while you move around, it's low opacity, and when you come to a stop, it's high opacity, and maybe shorten that little delay there. We are making meth right now, but I'm doing it in a strange way. I'm doing it with caffeine, with lots of coffee. And I hope I'm methy enough for you. I've definitely got bad teeth. I definitely have a freakish energy that has no dependence on the stimuli around me. So yeah, I hope you'll join me and we'll have a methy time together. Alright, you've inspired me, Hungry Boy Jr. Rando. I'm going to go downstairs and get another cup of coffee. In the meantime, let's go weight screen. Oh yeah, I was worried about you and the mob. I was real worried. In general, I think your production this month has fallen way below the quota. We locked you down in that basement for a reason, so please hurry up and make the meth. Everyone's expecting it. Our network on the east side of Detroit is flailing. They need the supply. Re-up. All right. All right, so what I really think is the meth is wonderful. No, what I really think is I need to simplify this a little bit and put it under the player's control instead of me trying to be too clever. And it should work out. So I'm going to do that in this session. I know I've been threatening to be done with fading for a while, but I think I'm not done yet. The other thing I need to do is when the player dies, let's kill Billy. I made it. Yes, I am making it. Yes. When the player dies, I want their face to disappear because it doesn't make sense for the face to just be hanging around there. It needs to disappear when they disappear. Alright. Since I did get to a little place of peace here, there are no bugs that I know about, good time to do a git commit. And let's see, face fading, working fine, no known bugs before changing rules on when to fade. All right, a little checkpoint there. I can go back if I mess things up. Too advanced for? Is it too advanced for most species on the planet? It would be too advanced for, but for a human being, perhaps it's not. Let's see. All right, we'll think about my design a tiny bit. These two are fixed. Well, I don't know. It all depends what I want to do. So, I mean, there's all kinds of files here. I wrote them all. And it looks really confusing if you're looking at the tail end of it, because it's just all of this giant machinery and stuff. Just like if you looked inside a car, it would look confusing unless you knew something about cars or but when you have something that's basically working, then you just think, like, what's the next thing I want to add to it? And you know where all the files are that have different bits of the functionality and workings of it. Yeah. So, like, this is not anything to... Nobody's going to understand it looking at it just for the first time. Even, like, the most advanced programmer, they would be like, I need to spend half a day just looking at, like, the locations of files and stuff. Okay, so the requirements are for the next change I'm going to do. If player is moving, face should be at low opacity. If player stops for next seconds, face should be at high opacity. Yeah, I suppose I could add one more requirement. Face disappear. Let's leave that. Let's leave it down here. Face. Let's do a bug. God of a very limited universe. The universe of my game. I am the undisputed God of that. Okay. so the number one solution to start out with, we'll say let me take a look what I got here already. But you can do the same thing. I mean, you open up a text editor and you can write I love beans, and then you can delete it, and then you can be God of that document. You can have a similar power to mine, is what I'm saying. We could be gods together. We're very limited worlds. I'm telling you, you could do it. You could create and destroy. Alright, so then the override logic sets the high opacity. I think this is actually a really simple change. Yeah, because like all the code's already there. So I'll just make that change real quick. I don't need to debate the design too much. Here, just have this happen a lot faster. That might be all it is. Let's try it. Yeah, that's it. That's really all I needed. I thought it would be something complicated, but it's not. Okay, that works. If I move this guy, okay, I think that'll do it. So then let's do the other thing I wanted, which was, well, okay, do I need this anymore? Yeah, nothing is using it. So one of my favorite things to do is delete code. And it's counterintuitive. It's something you start liking about 5 years in. When you realize it doesn't matter that you write a lot of code, it matters that it works and it's maintainable. So now whenever I get a chance to delete code, I just love doing it. Do not need that code. If I do find I need it later, I can go back to Git and revert. Maybe. Yeah. I am trying to make them somewhat autonomous. That's the point of this code, is that instead of me writing something that says when somebody speaks this line, the character is going to look at them. Instead, it's just automatic behavior. So the faces, they blink and they look around and they pay attention to things going on around them. So there's like a tiny little bit of stuff sort of like what you're talking about. I know you're joking, but there is a little bit of autonomy to these things. Okay, so then death. So I'm thinking I could use one of the existing fade channels, or I could create a new fade channel. I haven't really worked out like when I want to create a fade channel or not. Conceptually, it's kind of silly to conceptually it does make sense to create more fade channels, but practically speaking it's not a real good idea, because it's more CPU to look over them all and manage them all. I don't know. I think I'll just create another fade channel. It's sort of the cleaner choice. And if I have to optimize later, I can do that. So where are my fade channels? Face controller. That's a large question, but there's a prototyping stage where you just kind of throw some shit together. You got some kind of idea what the game should be like, and you just try it out, and it's kind of junky. And then there's just a series of changes and updates and plans, and so this is 2 years of work here. Okay, is alive. Could just use hide and show here. Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Okay. Go back to Face Manager. I'm not sure if I understand. Is it possible for your creation to go off strip? I'm not sure if I understand. Playing with words too much. Show or hide. Faces. For living. Go off script, you meant. Okay. You're asking silly questions and I'm taking them seriously. Because it's more fun for me to do that. But the answer is yes, they can. No, the answer is no, they can't go against my command, but they can go against my intent. And what we call that when they do exactly what I asked them to, but not what I really meant, is a bug. That's a bug, and then we fix it. But will they do something other than what I asked them to? Never. They'll never do that. That's what programming is. When you're surprised, it means you fucked up. Or maybe another programmer fucked up, but not equal face. I think this might be wrong. Goes back to that stuff with having multiple channels or not. Problem is, I've got this one channel. It's going to be an overall. Are we showing or hiding? So I do need that extra channel. Let me go back to here. It also means I've got to have like set alive, set false methods on this. So where's my face channels? No, it's face player, face controller. Okay, is alive. No. Although, if it's carbonated water, you can put the little Alka-Seltzer tablet in it and it'll blow up. This might be a better way to handle this private. Set. Just follow the pattern. All right, man. I'm just saying, if you're just trolling me with stuff, I'm not gonna really get all freaked out or anything. I mean, I've been there, you know, I have friends with like anarchist cookbook type stuff, and so I don't know. Try to be a little bit real. I mean, you can say things to, you know, kind of shock me or something, but whatever. I hope you're having a good night. Or day, or early morning. the first one that I made that wasn't professional or anything was just some silly little text adventure game type of a thing. Then later on, when I got a little more serious, I made a game called Drod, D-R-O-D, which is a puzzle game. You could Google it if you want. So, yeah. Okay, so we're setting this channel alive or not. So I need in the face manager when I finally have the piece. Yeah, it definitely is complicated. In some ways, for many people, too complicated. It wasn't that successful because it's just sort of like a game that if you're a certain type of person, you love it. I say it wasn't that successful. I just mean not a lot of people bought it, but not a lot. Like it had sort of a cult following. Like maybe thousands of people really loved it, But it's not. It was never destined to be something with a wide appeal. Let's see. Set face piece of transform matches. Let's see what that looks like. Do I need to set I don't have to set this. I already have that tracked in the other thing. Okay, so I can get rid of this show for living variable. I can just say we'll use what the face controller has. This, let's see, this will be face controller. Okay, why? Why does it not pick up that variable? Because I didn't say controller, I just said face. Okay. Yeah, it's probably safe to just have this default to true. Coming back to face manager. Yeah, okay, that might do it. Let's see if I broke anything. Still working. All right. Oh yeah, it worked. Cool. Okay. What kind of code? You mean just now what kind of code? I put in code that would affect the logic for when you show faces. So I don't want faces to show for a character that's dead. So if I take this character I'm controlling and kill her by stepping on spikes, the face above her now is hidden. And when reborn, it comes back on. Okay. So that's good. Yeah. So I'm really having a nice session here, actually. So there was some stuff like this that I was having tons of trouble with yesterday. And I'm just plowing through it now at a pretty nice rate. Yesterday I was actually slightly upset about it. Okay, now the other thing I'm thinking. Thinking about some different rules for when the face fades away. So right now I'm saying that, okay, these two characters are talking, but as soon as they stop talking, any character stops talking, the face starts fading away. And then they talk again, they go to their higher opacity, but I think that's kind of weird too. What I might do instead is say that if anybody is talking, anybody at all the faces stay on. These people are having their infinite conversation full of random phrases. But how it usually happens inside of real levels instead of this fake test level is that there'll be an exchange, characters talking to each other for a little bit, then they stop talking, and that would be the time for all the faces to disappear. So I'm just going to try setting the logic a little bit different for that. I think it's time to do another commit because this is also a nice checkpoint. Commit A. So if I screw something up, I can just go back to where I was. Okay, so the requirements. If any character is speaking, his speaking channel is on for all. No, don't say that. If no character is speaking, all faces hidden. Individual faces not affected by individual speaking status. Okay. Number one. Get rid of his speaking channel. Use overall channel for speaking criteria. Face manager call. That's simple enough. I'm just going to try it instead of thinking of other alternatives. Sometimes I write a number 2 underneath and then think about that way, but this is pretty simple. I'll just go with that. So that would mean get rid of this, get rid of that. Okay, so show or hide. Show or hide all faces. I had a method in here already. Yeah, is anyone speaking? Okay, that one. What? What? It's right here. Public bool Oh, is this a boot manager thing? Yeah, okay, I moved it to booter. Okay, no problem. It was Drod, man. Drod. The reason that's a hard question, though, is because there's multiple Drod games, and my involvement on each of them was different. So then, like, the best of the Drod games is probably the last one that they released, but I only contributed maybe 16 hours of work to that one. So I can't say I made that game. I was like a collaborator with other people that spent thousands of hours on it. The one that I spent maybe 50% of the time on making it, spent, personally maybe 1,000 hours or something on it. Journey to Rooted Hold. Drod Journey to Rooted Hold. So that was probably the best game I can say I made. But this one will be better. Okay, so now they should both just kind of stay up. Without any fading out. That's good. So they'll fade under a different set of criteria now. If I move around, that fades. If I pause for a second, it goes back to high opacity. Okay, it's all there. Alright, so that's the end of the coding portion of this. Now, I do have some other work I want to do in this session. It's entirely different from what I've just been working on. It's actually drawing. So I need to send concept art to 3D Character Modeler. And he uses the Character Modeler, Isak does, to make 3D models like the ones you see in the game. Like this guy here, he made low poly stuff. And then M, he made her too. And he's busy making some other models as well. But I gotta keep him busy. So he sent me, based on concept art that I sent to him, he sent me, see if I can just bring up, Fine, just go away. Alright. Open recent. Cars blend. These prototypes, which he's not done with, but characters that go into the game. And they'll usually be viewed kind of like this far away. And that's why it doesn't matter that they're low poly, because you just will not see them in detail. I'm not much of a Blender person. I'm not a Blender person, or I just don't know much about Blender, so can't do too much inside of here quickly. Like, I wouldn't mind being able to just turn off the view of these skeletons so I could see them a little better, but anyways, need to send Isak more concept art so that he can continue working. So that means switching to my iPad view and drawing a little bit. Yeah, the new characters. So there's a character called Billy, and right now I'm using like a kind of a basic NPC model for Billy, but Billy's supposed to have his own character model. And yeah, so the other ones I gotta do: Queen of Forks, Fork Guards, Beards. Okay, let's see, Glyph, put down here. Alright, so let's switch over to the iPad. Here we go. Screen looks a little garbagey. I'll fix it in a second. All right, here we go. There we go. We got the iPad going. So this is the stuff I send them for the concept art. It's like the character shown from different angles and maybe a few instructions. I think I'll get rid of this one. All right. So I think I'll do Queen of Forks. So that means I'm just going to scribble around for a little bit until I start feeling like I got the Queen of Forks down. Okay, so who is this woman? She's this character that pops up at different points in the game where there's a decision for the main character controlled by the player to make. It's kind of like you go left, you go right, you do this, you do that. And so she talks around whatever that big decision is. And she is always with her two guards or attendees. I should find a different name besides guards, but Let me see. So, you know, she'll be like hanging out here. It's a very kind of boisterous woman. And she'll have like a little guard guy to either side of her. So, I guess I'm picturing almost like an opera singer type of a character, like just really large and larger than life type of a figure. Okay, maybe I should. Well, I don't know. If it's lagging, it's lagging. Here, I will take a look. I'll bring up on my other computer the Twitch screen just to see if it's really, really terrible and unrecoverable. It seems to be okay from the Twitch side now. Maybe it was bad for a moment and got better, I hoped. Okay. So let's see. And then she's surrounded by forks. There's all these forks all around her. Wherever she's at, there's these forks. That's the easy part. Let me get rid of some of this clutter and focus on her. I think her crown should probably look like a fork. This is kind of junky to start, but I'm just getting loose. Gotta get a little bit loose on this stuff. So she's got a large area that I can stage her inside of, which means I can do things like have a big dress behind her. I think that's kind of the basic shape. Let me try to make it like a cleaner version of this. Maybe I'll figure out her crown next. Okay. So it's one head type. Put the crown on like that. Yeah, I don't want anything too detailed because it just won't show up from far away. So let me think. That type of crown, maybe something a little more. I kind of like this better because it looks more like a fork and looks less like a jester hat or Harley Quinn type hat. Jewel on the front of it. Yeah, I kind of like that one. Alright, so let's put her head on it. Do I give her long hair? I don't know. Because she's got the crown. If you got a crown, you don't want to have like your bangs all clamped down by the front of the crown. I mean, I've never worn a crown myself, but I just figure you got some kind of fancy crown. You're probably not going to want your bangs just kind of clamped down by it in front. So maybe something more like, let's see, we'll go. Give her just a much tighter set of hair here. Okay, this is from the profile. Oh yeah, God of my universe. I never stop creating. I guess I have to figure out what her crown does in back. I think it has to have something that comes up too. Yeah. All right, I think, yeah, we give her just a very coiffed ponytail type thing in the back. Have it swept back. So from the front, she's going to look more like that's her ponytail there. Okay, so let me kind of think about her face a bit. I think I got her too much up there. Bring her down a bit. So the crown, I think. Right about there. Yeah, I could just have like a very neat, precisely defined part with her hair kind of being swept back tight. Oh, Goose. Hey man, good to see you. Yeah, I'm getting concept art to the character modeler. He's making some more 3D character models for me. Yeah, you got your app coming out this weekend. Yeah. After the, yeah. Your ass is hurting. But yeah, glad that's going better for you. So, I don't know how much drawing I'm going to end up doing on stream, but I imagine if I keep doing a lot of drawing on stream, basically some people that were interested in the stream earlier will go away and other people that weren't will show up. But either case, I'm just doing work I have to do for the game. Oh, the meds. How to do any work, how to get anything done when you're in a fog. Yeah. They're probably not fun enough to be called recreational. I do remember when I was like really sick once with I don't know, some like kind of like really shitty flu type thing, but it had me coughing all the time. And actually that the cough medicine meds they gave me, that was like too fun. Like, if I keep downing this stuff, I will be addicted because this is nice. I'll be part of the opioid crisis. Well, you get some relaxation. Queen of Forks. Hey, I gotta give her a fatter face though, because I kind of want her to just be like a beautiful fat lady, basically. Because I've got like a lot of thin people in the game already, so I just feel like kind of like rounding it out a bit. Let's see. Let me try her face again. I'll give it a fuller profile. No, exactly. Exactly. That's probably a little too much, but all right. That's the thing. I go like full round shape. That's not quite right. Just a little bit of weight, not just a big stupid ball. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you're using like the web hooks. I don't know if I like this pencil that much. Let me try this other one. Yeah, I find there's more and more things I want to do that are custom with builds at work, my day job. So day job, it's a CI/CD shop, and then there's like all these checks to run on the pipeline to make sure that like we're like above a certain code coverage, and then we've got static analysis that runs on the code. And then once you've got like that basic ability to do static analysis as part of the build pipeline, it just gives me all these ideas. Like there's some library I don't want any programmer to ever use. I can say, well, don't make a call to that. I can put it right in the build, like some weird dictator. But people, I think, would prefer to have a robot tell them not to do something than somebody that comes along later. You always sound like a guy that needs a vacation to me. But I don't know. That's just my limited sampling of you hopping on my stream. It doesn't help that you had the medical thing you went through too. I don't know. Maybe you'll have an enjoyable next week. It's kind of good to have an excuse. It's kind of good to have an excuse where even if everybody wanted you to be at work, you say, "No, sorry, I can't." Yeah, I don't know. You might be in a different state of mind. I think this is basically the face. I'll have to clean it up a bit. Okay, then the crown comes in over the top, like so. And she's got the really tight part. Then she's got her ears over here. And I think this should come out a little bit. Then down here, there's like the tight little ponytail. And all that stuff. Queen of Forks. Okay, I think I got the face. That's weirdness because it looks just like the face of the actor that I want to do her voice. It's kind of weird how it creeps into my head like that. Okay, you're bolstering the image I already had of you. Remember we talked like much earlier, and I go, you seem kind of like a type A personality. The workaholic, the guy who's fairly intense about working and just kind of got a little bit of energy in you there, which is cool. Your wife's trying to protect you from yourself. Okay, so and then I'm trying to parse this last bit. You threw a strop, so I didn't have to not. What do you mean you threw a strop? You threw a fit? Threw like a tantrum? Yeah. English slang I'm not familiar with, I think. There you go. So you didn't have to not code. I need to cook. Give me my Mac. Give me my MacBook. Got a code. My butt hurts, but I got a code. Okay, let's see if I can clean this up a little bit. Okay, so I know that I'm satisfied with that face. I would not be much different because of this kind of freakish thing where I've told myself that I will make progress on this particular project every single day. But my day job, I could let it go real easy as far as letting things go at work. But my own personal project with it, there's a number at the top of my screen, 300. That's the number of consecutive days in a row that I've made progress on my game. And I got married last year. The morning of my wedding, I did some work on my game. I went to someone's funeral last year. I got some work done on my game on that day. I was sick in bed. I got some work on my game done that day. I had a emergency room hospital trip. When I came back and I was feeling a little bit better, I got some work done. So I'm not entirely sane myself. I will not judge you. Okay. So then, for the body. Body is voluptuous. Just a big old opera singer body. Okay. Couple boobs there. This character. Oh, wait, we got back up. Yeah. Reading your stuff about your taking your MacBook and different places. No, this is a character called the Queen of Forks. And she pops up at different points in the game where there's some large decision for the main character to make, like go left or go right. And she is like the queen of like forks as decisions, and also the queen of forks as utensils, kind of like a patron saint type of a thing. So she's surrounded by a bunch of forks as ornamentation, and there's usually some big decision. I'm not necessarily trying to channel somebody, but I did notice that the face that I ended up liking resembles a lot the actor that I want to play the Queen of Forks. And her name is, she's not anybody famous. She's just somebody I know. So. I'm kind of careful not. If I do happen to sort of loosely base a character on a celebrity, I will not say their name. Because it's kind of like, hey, Mateo, I just noticed I kind of mixed you in there with Goose. Mateo, hey. Yeah. So if I'm drawing something and I start picturing like a celebrity that I kind of want to pattern it off of, usually by the time I get done drawing it, it's such a bad impression of that celebrity that it looks nothing like that celebrity at the end of it, just because I didn't do a good job. So there's absolutely no point in me like saying the name of the celebrity if it is a celebrity, because then that would just like open me up to some kind of legal thing later on. But this person is just a friend of mine, and I don't think it looks perfectly like her. I hope she doesn't sue me. Okay, so there we go. Boom, 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 boom. Mateo, what's going on tonight? Yeah, are you still doing the architecture stuff with your group? So let's see, Mateo. I think he just either graduated or I don't know. Mateo, did you graduate from that school? Like you had some education and programming games, and you just went through like a final. And then Mateo got together with some other people, and they're making architecture demos in Unity. I saw his demo. It's actually really good. Okay, so that's that. Are you just going to pick a project to work on, Goose? Boom, boom, boom. Holy shit. You do something like measuring like marketing outcomes, like Steam followers, wish lists, retweets, and is it like marketing based, or is it more like engineering analytics, code quality stuff? What kind of analytics? I know it's just like kind of early days with your idea, but I might be asking for more details than you are prepared to discuss. Okay, so that. I think I'm botching her arms a bit. Let's fix those a little bit. Okay, yeah. I'm glad you said apps developers, because game developers are the shittiest market to go after. I know. I've tried it. I mean, indie game developers, worst market ever. So bad. It's like you tell me, how about your market could be preschoolers that are developing business applications? And I go, yeah, that one's better than indie game developers. Dog developers, like dogs that are actually writing code, that better market. Better market. I had a voiceover studio, and my thought was, I know indie game developers. I can market to indie game developers. And instead of being the person who's trying to make money selling a game, I'll just go out to all these scads, these thousands and thousands of game developers, and see if I can get them to pay for voiceover services. I'll have cheap voiceover services to put inside their games. And I delivered on that. It was just there's no money. They had no money. And then they were so disorganized too. Yeah, the free platform thing. Sounds pretty reasonable. From the marketing side, the one that I used that I thought was pretty good that way was... I'm not saying like they're in the same space as you or anything, but just as an example of the business model working was the short URL for it is OWL Hootsuite. Hootsuite. So you can get on there for free, right? And then like at some point you want like a little more oomph, some better reports or something, then they just kind of upsell around that. And it's pretty reasonable. It's also a kind of thing where like maybe somebody starts as an indie and they get on your platform and it's doing good things for them. And then when they actually get to a point where they're making some money, they're like, okay, let's get serious. Let's get these extra reports that Goose has got hidden off in some corner. Then maybe they want to pay you. That seems pretty reasonable. I'm not an expert on it, but I thought the Hootsuite model with the free to join and use and then pay money if you need more was pretty good. Yep. All right, where do I want? Do I want to do like the halter top type thing? Usage tracking, pain points tracking, head map tracking. What do you mean by head map? What do you mean by head map? What's that? Heat map. Okay, cool. I got you. But I'm telling you, you have helped your game grow in there, and I hope you're not going after indie gamers. God, they suck. Indie developers, better market. Yeah. Hobo developers, better market. Indie game developers, worst market ever. Train hopping developers, excellent market compared to indie game developers. I see. Here's the thing, though. I think you have to have some hook beyond, and you may have, but that is basically, to my eyes, at first glance, that's instrumentation logged off to a server. So you've got events that occur. Like if I'm in my game and I want to integrate with your server, it seems to me from what you described that I'm going to add like some triggers for certain areas, and then I'm going to log off to the server. User entered this area, and then like a multiplayer type of a situation, then you have people of different clients all over the place going, boom, I'm over here, I'm over here. And we get the heat map. Then you could say, no, it's more visual. It's more, integrated with your game and stuff. But then like you're like tied into like Unity or Unreal Engine. And then I'm telling you, man, that whole indie game developer market is shit. It's so shit. I've talked to so many of them. I've had so many. You feel like maybe there's a middle class that you can reach, but there's just these thousands and thousands of people that are just kind of like not doing anything. They're not going to get to any place. Then there's people got their act together. It's hard to get a conversation with people that have their act together, and it's hard to tell. So either they've got money behind them and they're walled off and it's difficult to talk to them, or they're accessible, but you'll end up wasting a lot of time because they're not really for real. They don't have money to pay for things, and they're disorganized, and they waste a fucking lot of your time. I say that with just a tinge of bitterness because I spent a lot of time chasing after these pennies. Just a tinge. And I had one client who actually had money and was like a $500,000 budget for their game, which is sort of like the ideal client for my little voiceover studio. And that fell through, and then I just said, I'm closing up shop. I'm tired of fucking chasing after indie game developers. I don't know. Obviously, I'm like projecting way too much onto you. All right. Let's see. Let's get this lady going. Okay, let's give her gloves. Fancy gloves. Fancy gloves. Fancy gloves. And then she'll have, I don't know, I think like this kind of type thing. And we'll make her a little bit sexy. Let's pull this down here. I'm such a pervert. There we go. A little cleavage there. And good. Boom. Okay, and that whole crown thing. Queen of Forks. Let's see. Okay, I can't have a big, long, flowing dress behind her if her dress is coming up to her knees. So I think it's like kind of a puddle of dress that she's standing inside of. So it's like very impractical dress to walk around in, but she's a queen. She doesn't have to do much walking. Yank that out like so. Puddle of dress. When she walks, people pick it up for her. Just need to really fix her arms. So let's see, let's keep that just a little bit more like that. Oh yeah. Hey, what's the name of your app? I mean, you're making it public here over the weekend. Okay to keep it yourself if you want. But. Too daily. Cool. Wait, is it the first release of it, or is it an update? I'm gonna go check it out. Let's see, Apple Store. Oh, goddamn you. Goddamn you. Alright, whatever. Okay. I rarely go to the Apple Store. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. This is the app. Minimalistic to-do list app. By Robert Wildgoose. Da, da, da. So Did you write it in Swift? Actually, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was you who was playing with React Native at some point. I almost asked you if you wrote it in Unity, and then I thought, no, that would be stupid. He wouldn't write an iOS app in Unity. Dun, dun, dun. Well, cool, man. I hope that gives you a nice feeling. Like whenever I get to a release, if it's mine or if it's like the team's, I always get pretty happy. Well, actually, no, it's more like, here's the thing. So you do the release, and first it's anxiety. Because what if the thing you just released is full of just dumb fuck bugs and it's going to generate all kinds of follow-up actions that you have to deal with. So this is the sad thing about a release is that moment when you can allow yourself to celebrate and say, yeah, fuck yeah, it's out there. Like instead of having one big moment when you can do that, it's sort of like, yeah. And then it's sort of like it peters off. The level of apprehension and stress you have peters off. And then maybe 3 days after the release is out, you're like, hey, things are pretty good. I'm not getting texted by my boss's boss's boss. Things are pretty good. And then you have like this little weenie, yay. But what I've been trying to do is just be a little more bold. After that first maybe set of hours after the release, I just say, yes, we did it. We fucking did it. I don't care if it blows up 5 seconds from now. We still did it. Because otherwise, I just rob myself of that triumphant moment by just wringing my hands and waiting for the risk of some fuck-uppery to go down to 0. Yeah, and then the post-mortem stuff also just robs the joy of the whole thing. But anyways, I hope you feel fantastic after your release. See if I can make her other arm sort of match. So it looks like a person that could exist in the real world. Sometimes I just feel like just leaving a little note on this to Isak, the 3D artist, saying like normal, not fucked up hands instead of drawing them all very carefully. Because I know he can make good hands. I don't have to slave forever to get them right, but I can make good hands too if I'm really, really trying. Maybe that's a point of pride. I'm not saying I'm sloppy hands. Or at least not too sloppy. Alright, clean up the boobs a bit. Okay. So, crown design. Then there should be like some little jewel thing right here. I don't want to clean this up too much because I know it doesn't matter that much. This is not a labor of love for me. I just got to get enough to Isak that he can not be confused about what to draw. He's done really well with pretty rough work for me. That's not bad. I think I can just get rid of these. I don't want to redraw the whole crown again here. Let's just hint at it. Okay. Then I'll draw the crown from the side view. I think maybe her head too, so just to make the head clear. So we'll say over here. Maybe I should just, okay, just the head by itself with the side view is probably good. Okay, so we go. Okay, and she's got the real tight part there. And then her ear would be about here. I'll just do that really super tight part all the way down if I wanted. Yeah, I think it's more like that. Okay, so tight part, a little bit of a curve there on the profile. Nose is a little screwy, I'll fix that. Tap the hair with some volume out behind her. It'll get clamped down by the crown a bit. Okay, and the crown. Make it at the same scale as the other. I think it's like, yeah, that's about right. Not liking the sides. Gonna mess with those a little more. Oh yeah, you just make them just be a little more substantial. Because from the front they can be all thin like that, but from the side they can cover a different area. Okay, so then here. That's not bad. I don't think my feelings will be hurt if Isak changes the design a little bit to make it easier for himself. Alright. Let's see. I'm feeling pretty strongly I want her to have black hair, so let's just fill that in now. over here, let's fill in the hair too. So now I'm looking at the three versions of my face, and they look not entirely consistent. Main thing is the lips are bigger with this one. But that's pretty close. I might be going a little cartoonish on this one here. So I think let's just make this one a little bit smaller. Just by cleaning up the lines will do it. Let's throw some eyebrows on her here. That'll make the two match a little bit better. I'll be relieved when I can actually justify making a nice version of this face. Because I'm just being sloppier than I want to be for making art, but I'm being the correct amount of sloppiness for getting this done efficiently to send it off to ESOC. But I keep on wanting to fix up little things, and it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. ESOC will do a good job. Let me think. What is missing for ESOC besides color, which I'll get to? Not really anything else. You can get the rest from this. Particularly because it's just a human woman instead of a weird creature. So he can sort of fill in the blanks with, like, whatever he knows about human women. Alright, let's go on to coloration. And I think that's gonna be the crown should be shiny silver like the rest of the forks. Throw a little gray on top here. It won't really look silver unless it's got like specular highlights in it. And I'm not too concerned about that at the moment. Throw some red there. Oh, come on. Okay. Let's give her a red dress. If I give her a red dress, that means red gloves. Okay, do I want to have her just with like the pure white skin? That's always a little weird and artificial. Let me just give her okay, pale skin. Okay. That might be it, honestly. I don't know. I will make it look just a little bit nicer out of a sense of pride. Let's get a little depth of color here. I've got Disney animation theme songs playing through my head. I can't help it. I cannot help it because I spent my early childhood listening to the Disney soundtracks again and again and again. I'm sure there's a lot of kids that are in the same boat. They just got Little Mermaid or Lilo and Stitch or some other Disney thing just going on in their head all the time. Okay. Now I need to stop thinking about making it beautiful and think what is important to communicate to my man Isak off in Brazil. The texture he chooses for the fabric, it would be nice if it had some specular highlight to it, a little bit of shininess. So, no, that's not right. Doesn't look right. Let me get something in between those two. Can't try that. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Let's leave that alone. Okay. I think this is going to be good enough to send. Let me just add some text. Okay, what do I need to tell him in text? Take a little more care. Dang it. Let me think. What's the words I'm going to say? What am I trying to get across? So he doesn't have to do any rigging for her legs, or he could, but she'll always stand in one place. Or let's see. She yeah. Because if she walks, then that's going to make all the rigging he has to do a lot more complex. Let's say red satin texture, and that will probably be enough that he'll pick something that has the right specular highlight on it. Let's see. Let's give her some blue eyes. It's kind of rare for a dark-haired person to have blue eyes. Yeah, let's do brown. There we go. All right, that is enough that I can send it to him. Queen of Forks, and that's a stream. I'm going to shut down the stream here in just a second. If anyone's still on, I guess I'm saying my goodbyes right about now. Queen of Forks. Done. And let's see, also get to do my sharing via ping, via airdrop to my motherfucking iMac. And over here we say, yep, open it up. Okay. All good. I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks for anyone that hung out previously or still hanging out now. Have an awesome weekend. And I will catch you later. Stopping the stream.